What's up, people? In this video I'm going to tell you why bodybuilding is a meme and you should not do bodybuilding, and it's dumb and it's stupid and it's a waste of time, and anybody who does it is, I don't want to say a loser, but kind of basically like at the beginning of their fitness journey, or just entirely possible that they're uncreative, or maybe they don't have access to the internet, or oh my god, or some other reason that means they're unfortunately an inferior human being who arguably doesn't have the right to speak, or shouldn't have the right, because this is America after all. Okay, so we're going to talk about bodybuilding in just a second, but first, if you have not subscribed to my channel, why don't you click that subscribe button? I give all kinds of, lately they've been increasingly wacky opinions, but just because, I don't know, not that I'm running out of things to say, but the more you do something, the more exciting you want it to be, because you just get used to it after a while. Alright, so anyway, subscribe to my channel, check out legendarysuitjamas.com. They make pimped out silk shirts just like this one that are actually pajamas but look like suits. I just don't wear the suit because it's hot and I can't be bothered. Okay, bodybuilding. Why is it a meme? Why is it dumb? Why is it stupid? So, as a certified fitness bro who has been working out, his whole life, this is my opinion on bodybuilding. Now, okay, fine. If you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you're a fitness model, if you're a professional bodybuilder, if you're on steroids, if you make your living from having a nice body, I guess you could make the argument as to why you should do bodybuilding and why bodybuilding is a good idea. But for your average fitness bro, or fitness Stacy, whatever, bodybuilding is a bad idea for one simple reason, and that is that, number one, if you don't do steroids, you're not going to look that good. Sorry. There's a reason why it's hard for you to lose that last little lip of fat around your midsection. And there's a reason why, if you take a look at the natural bodybuilding champions, they don't look that good. They look kind of disgusting. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but they don't look, it's not a good look. The real bodybuilders, or the ones who do steroids at least, you could make the argument that they look good. Okay, maybe it's a little bit too much, but if we go down a few levels, fitness models or just really buff, roided out dudes on Instagram, it's a good look. It looks good, Compare that to your average natural bodybuilder, which doesn't really look good. I'm gonna say, yeah, it's generally a waste of time. Now, obviously, your average fitness bro is not going to take bodybuilding as seriously as your roided out bodybuilder who is trying to get 1 million followers on Instagram. That does account for some of it. However, for the most part, you're just not going to see the type of results that you would see if you're doing steroids. And most people who have that kind of picturesque body that looks like an action figure, most people, all of them, they're all on the juice, okay? Hate to burst your bubble, hate to break it to you. That's the way it is, either do you can either do the steroids or pick a different type of exercise, which is what I'm about to recommend. So if bodybuilding is dumb and it's stupid and it's a waste of time and nobody should do it, then what should you do? Okay, well, actually, before we get into that, let me tell you one more situation where bodybuilding might be a good idea, and that is if you are a beginner to exercise. Okay, if you're like sedentary and you're super out of shape and you're fat and you're overweight, you could make the argument for bodybuilding being a good idea, because it will help you make temporary gains fairly quickly, and the hypertrophic nature of bodybuilding, the muscle growth effect, let's just call it, is more pronounced than if you were to do powerlifting, for example, that has a lower rep range. Okay, and it's easy on your joints as well. Bodybuilding, you could make that argument. So if you're extremely overweight, you don't have to run the risk of blowing out your knees or whatever, hurting yourself in some way, because essentially it's a low impact activity, and all you're really doing is lifting the weight and putting it down for about 10 reps. So that 10 rep range kind of implies that it's not going to be that heavy in the first place. Okay, now here's another reason why bodybuilding is bad, is because the gains are temporary. When you lift weights, okay, or when you do any activity that I guess is different than just your day-to-day life, oh my god, you're going to induce neurological changes in your body as well. For example, let's say you're a boxer and you throw punches, right? Every time you throw a punch, you are training your nerves, right, to oversimplify, you're training your nerves to fire in a way that moves your arm and your body and all that to throw that punch, okay? So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, irrespective of how big your muscles are, okay? Which is why if you take a look at most professional boxers, most of them don't look like bodybuilders. Most of them don't have a lot of muscles and they look kind of average, right? Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time, was not a super ripped guy. Mike Tyson, as big as he was not shredded and he wasn't a bodybuilder. I don't even think he lifted weights. I think Tyson only did calisthenics also. You could make the argument those guys were on the juice, professional athletes, fine, but still, they don't look like roided out bodybuilders, okay? So when you do hypertrophic workouts in the roughly, let's say 8 to 12, 13, 14 rep range, you're going to grow your muscles quickly, but you don't induce that neurological change, that repeated action, okay, that the other ends of the rep range tend to induce. So for example, if you're a power lifter and you're training your nerves to lift as much weight as possible, and your muscles, of course, you're training your nerves to lift as much weight as possible for 1, 2, or 3 reps, then you're going to change your body in a much more significant way than if you're doing 10 reps, okay? That's why you're able to get power lifters who weigh 175 pounds who can deadlift 500 pounds, right? It's not because they have bigger muscles, it has nothing to do with the size of their muscles. It really just has to do with them training their body, training their nerves, okay? They teach their nerves to fire faster. All right, I forget the technical term for it. I think it's neurologically induced response, something like that. Doesn't matter. You guys know how much I love science. These Japanese people loving my videos today. Okay, so that's at the lower end of the rep range. At the higher end of the rep range, it's also not really going to induce any sort of neurological change on the same level as the low end will. But if we take the extreme example, for example, like boxing, like I said earlier, in a given training session, how many punches is a boxer going to throw? Several hundred, When I was doing Muay Thai in Thailand, and I did this completely on my own, this was not instructed to me by the trainers, at the end of every workout, after I did my pad work, my jump rope and all that stuff, I would do my heavy bag stuff, and I would throw 100 jabs with each arm. I like to switch stances. So I do 100 jabs, 100 crosses, 100 hooks to the body, and then if I still had energy, I would do, I would do kicks also. So 100 high kicks, 100 low kicks, 100 knees, and then elbows, and that was just my conditioning workout at the end of it. So the effect of that, and of course this is just one example, but I'm sure that you can extrapolate from this. By the end of that, after a few months, I had a very strong jab. Okay, it had nothing to do with the size of the muscles in my shoulders. It just had to do with me, it's called greasing the groove, with me greasing the groove literally thousands of times in the span of several months. Plus, you could also make the argument that when you train a sport on both sides of your body equally, when you train one side of your body, you're able to kind of understand certain nuances of the movement that you can then apply to the other side. Right? Generally, we're going to have one side of our body that's more dominant and one that's more or less dominant. So you learn, it's kind of hard to explain, but you learn different nuances, I guess, like I said, from your dominant side, and you also learn from the less dominant side. And you're able to apply those to either side. And also it helps you build a more balanced body, and when you have a more balanced body, you have better balance overall, and that better balance is going to make you perform better you're going to have better athletic performance overall. So, what does this have to do again with bodybuilding? That doesn't really happen. I mean, I guess you could say it does happen, but the movements of bodybuilding are very specifically geared towards growing muscles in a very restricted range of motion. Okay, bicep curl, you're lifting from, I can't really show you, but from here to here. Okay, even the big 3 movements, squat, bench press, deadlift, how often are you bench pressing something? How often are you deadlifting something? How often are you squatting something? Which is why you'll see that from powerlifting is not going to improve your athletic performance really that much. If you take a bodybuilder and you put them and you make them play basketball, they're not going to play basketball better because they are a bodybuilder. general levels of fitness might translate into a slightly improved level of athletic performance, but the person who practices the skill is always going to have a much greater advantage. So, probably wondering to yourself, well, I'm just, no offense, some fat guy or girl who's on the computer all day. What does it matter about my level of athletic performance? I'm just trying to look better. I'm just trying to lose the weight so I don't embarrass myself at the company pool party. And I get it, that's fair. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, bodybuilding is always everybody's first step into the fitness world. Okay, you want to get fit, you want to get in shape. You know, you're going to look at the magazines, 12 steps to getting abs this summer, how to get toned arms, right? That's all bodybuilding stuff. Anyway, the point, 10 minutes and 42 seconds into the video, is that what I recommend, once you have been working out for about a month and you've essentially warmed up your muscles and gotten them used to training, what I recommend is that you do either some sort of sport or literally any kind of exercise that's not bodybuilding, right? Go play basketball, go do yoga, go do powerlifting, do boxing, soccer, dancing, literally anything. Okay, I'm not trying to like shut down gyms across the world. This is not like a campaign to say gyms are bad or anything like that. Plenty of great classes in gyms. I just made that video about Equinox. I love their classes there, and I'm not saying bodybuilding is bad and you should never do any sort of bodybuilding stuff. Like, I get it, we all want to look good, we all want to, we have certain parts of our body that we see need more attention than others. It's still good, it's fine, all right? But if that's all you're doing, then it's a problem, okay? And again, I'm not sure if I made this really clear enough, but the biggest problem with bodybuilding is that your gains do not last as long because you're not training your body on a neurological level. You're really just kind of inflating the muscles with blood because of the rep range, and then you are when you stop training, they're going to deflate. Okay, obviously they're not inflated with air and they're not really going to deflate, but oh my god, simplifying. Okay, so did that make any sense? Oh my god, what did you think about my there's too much going on here. I feel like everybody's looking at me. Anyway, who cares? So give me your opinion. Let me know in a comment. What do you think about bodybuilding? What is your opinion on bodybuilding compared to other forms of fitness, like athletic training, like powerlifting, like Olympic lifting? And bonus question, what type of athletic training or what type of exercise do you think gives people the most attractive body? For me, I'm gonna say, I don't wanna say CrossFit, but I really like the CrossFit look. Okay, so let me know in a comment. Check out legendarysuitjammers.com. Peace.